Today's lesson is going to be why you're crashing as a new FPV pilot and how to, I guess, lessen the frequency of your crashes. There's a couple reasons why new FPV pilots seem to crash a lot, and that is because either A, they're inputting the wrong control. If they want to, like, say they want to make a turn here, but they put it in the wrong control and they get all out of sorts. Or two, they're overcorrecting. Like if they're trying to go here, then all of a sudden they overcorrect and now they're, laying on their head. So, good drill to combat inputting the wrong controls and overcorrecting is, I think, a good drill that taught me a little bit more control with the drone is cross-coordinated turns. Meaning, so a normal coordinated turn is you're yawing and rolling in the same direction when you turn. But for a cross-coordinated turn, you're going to roll in the direction you want to turn and yaw the opposite way, and then work your pitch and throttle to stay in the air. So I'm gonna make a left-hand turn here. I'm gonna roll like into the turn and then yaw like 270 degrees and try to hold my pitch to keep me from flipping over. If I just do this, that's what I'm gonna roll. But you don't want to do that. So I'm gonna make a 90-degree turn, roll all the way around, and kind of correct yourself into the turn. This helps with that overcorrection and learning what input to use when you're trying to make a turn. So instead of that was a coordinated turn. So if I want to make a right-hand turn, I know what I'm going to have to do to get that turn to go around, working your pitch while you're turning. I'm going to be pitching down or up, depending on how my drone is oriented. So just doing this really helps out in not overcorrecting and trying to figure out what input does what when your senses get all out of sort, because this is really disorientating. And be able to correct yourself when you're disorientated is what kind of get you past that entry-level FPV mentality, and get you more thinking a little bit more advanced on how you want to get the drone to move. So that kind of helps out there. But yeah, so like if you get yourself all disorientated, don't know which way is up, you need to know what inputs to make to get yourself right side up again. But so that's one drill that kind of helps out. So along with cross-coordinated controls, I think another reason why new FPV pilots struggle is with their throttle control. Now that's something that's going to come with time, but I think a lot of new pilots have their camera angle down between 5 and 10 degrees. And if I were to learn FPV all over again, because I did the same thing. I started with a really low camera angle. And I think this could be controversial, but I think that's wrong. I think learning with a low camera angle makes it harder to fly, because when your drone is flat like this and you have a very low camera angle, you're trading a lot of your thrust going downwards instead of laterally. So any kind of minute changes you make with your throttle, you're going to be fighting the drone up and down. So if you have a higher camera angle, I would say I would go at least start off with at least 15 degrees of camera angle, because the more you advance flying FPV, you're going to be raising that camera angle anyway, because you're going to go faster, you want to do different things. So having a camera angle to start off with at least 15 degrees. Now, instead of that downward thrust you're trading more lateral thrust. So your throttle is going to be less sensitive to jerky motions with the throttle, especially while you're learning throttle control. And then once you're getting that, you can, learn to stay at a hover, and stuff. So I would start off with a higher camera angle. My throttle control didn't really improve much until I started bumping it up to like 25 degrees. At 25 degrees, I felt very comfortable flying with my throttle control and being able to put the drone in small gaps and stuff like that, and be able to manipulate the throttle. And it seemed to kind of really calm down my inputs and my throttle being, because I'm trading a little bit more lateral thrust for downward thrust when you're get higher in the camera degrees. So those are 2 tips I think that really would help entry-level pilot improve faster. Is just the cross-coordinated turns where you're rolling into the direction you turn and doing like a 270-degree yaw the opposite way. That kind of being able to recover from that is a good way to learning to stop overcorrect and learning how to put in the correct inputs, because that's what really causes entry-level pilots to crash. Is just you expect the drone to do one thing, but your inputs do another, and then you get all out of sorts, and then you start overcorrecting because you don't know what inputs to make to get back in the position you want. So the more you put yourself in positions where you're out of sorts and learning how to correct those with either pitch or roll or yaw to get yourself in a stable flight, I think will drastically improve your flying. That and your camera angle.